Alright everyone, welcome back. It's time for the second matchup of the day. It's the Swedish showdown between Nip and Fnatic, and we're right into it. It's going to be Nuke to kick things off. Of course, it's Mike and myself to bring you through the action, and this should be a banger, despite the fact that, of course, we have to mention the coach having to step in for Nip.
Yeah, threat in the server is going to be an interesting thing to keep track of. Apparently, it's going to be a fast start for Fnatic, but we get a bit of an answer. Threat himself making some noise, so maybe not much of a limitation here. We'll have to keep track of that one. Dooley's out for Brolin. Love to see that. Big fan of Dooley players. Just makes things spicy. And Threat's taking control towards lower from the ramp. There's still a player with the bomb, mind you, hanging out outside. Hampus, meanwhile, thinking about trying to make his way down, but Crims will deny that thought. Shuts him down immediately. Threat's made so much of a path through. And there's going to be the squeaky door opening. Now they're going to get the kill. Oh, this could have been huge for Threat, but he knows that both are here. Plopsky, if he gets back up, might just have time for the bomb plant. Got to turn around, just wait for them to come up the vents. JW is going to bait him a little bit. He's trying to bait him back. He wants the round. He doesn't just want the plant. He wants everything, and he will get nada as a result. Crims connecting for another dome shot of 4K in total on that pistol round, and Fnatic out to the first start.
Yeah, starting things off well, and that was actually despite the initial kill there being found by Hampus as well towards outside. It was just then the immediate counter-aggression from Fnatic then towards lobby. Worked out well, and yeah, managed to come out on top of that 2 versus 2. As you said, a bit unfortunate for Tret there. He had a strong position. If he had have gotten at least one of those kills, at that point it would have eased up so much pressure then for the ability for the bomb even to be planted up on A. But of course that didn't happen. Instead, we see NIP being willing to just go ahead and take themselves an eco right now. There's a Deagle bot up for Hampus. He has body armor behind it as well. That's just thanks to the frags he was able to find, of course, giving him a bit of extra money. Elsewhere, it is just Glocks. So I'm really not expecting much, if anything, to be found in this round for NIP. Fnatic definitely aiming to try and keep everyone alive. And we might see Brolan with this shotgun having a bit of a chance in a while, maybe. For the moment, though, not really much going on around lobby. There is one player up on the roof and waiting to see if he drops down, but of course the main action, it is going to be focused towards outside.
Just need to know if Brolin's going to make that money with the XM. Nuke the map. That is most prone to shotgun play, especially around hut, around that squeaky door. There's so many different angles that you can hold with that approach towards the A-bomb site or getting in towards vents. It's a spicy gun. It's a spicy gun. They've gotten over and around many, but Golden's going to deal with them, and Flush is there to support as well, so no problems here. Quick extermination. Threat, the last survivor, has once again walked his way into ramp. But what can we expect from the coach? No armor and a Glock. This would be 3 memes in one if he managed to somehow pull something off, and that won't happen. It's Flush up with the 2K. And Fnatic with the 2-0. This time with 4 players alive as well, so quite a comfortable start for them. The guns will be out for NIP. And this is an interesting matchup, Dean, because both teams are eliminated from the playoffs. They cannot progress. They just did not do well enough in the group stage. But there's a lot of pride online as to who's going to be the best Swedish team. And whenever these 2 teams meet, you know there's going to be sparks.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the brands against each other in general have a big history, and of course just some of the players anyway over on NIP. Tre, you can go back a little while for him, of course, having the old boys, having some competition up against Fnatic, so there definitely is a lot on the line, even if, as we said, it doesn't really matter too much in the overall standings of the group, considering both, unfortunately, are already down and out. That's interesting. I don't know how Golden didn't spot Plopsky above the smoke right there, but thankfully JW, he is there to go ahead and recover the situation quite well, actually coming out with a hat-trick. Thankfully so, because Crims had also been dropped, so a man advantage for now, and it's Flushy who's been tested on ramp. Both of those remaining teams moving in, the first one to be dropped, but the follow-up at least ready from Twist. And now he has a 1-on-2. Unfortunately already tagged up, but it's very winnable at this point. But does he expect his flank? It looks like he does. He has the crosser in the right position. And Twist, a ridiculous headshot onto Brolin. The game sense on point. As NIP, they find that opening gun round, and it didn't look like they had any business doing so. Well, other than that opening kill, which was a little bit interesting. But JW, he's going to be feeling a bit down about not being able to win that round.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little disappointing for them. They had such a lead, and one of the remaining 2 players is the coach as well. You expect that you might just be able to take it, but Twist playing so well off of his teammate, and then also just seeing it through individually. So nicely played. Good awareness. I love the smoke out of the Molotov to suggest that he might have gone through it. and gone towards ramp, and then playing back for the bait. I even think it got red in that instance because I think he was spotted just going around the corner. But I like that thought for the future. Really like that attempt at the play. Two players going to push secret. You've got the one rifle here on Golden, then you got JW behind him to pick up the gun should he falter. Golden's going to get one kill. Pushed back out by the Molotov, though. He will burn. Now the question is, can JW get his mitts on that rifle? He can indeed. So that's recovered. That's going to be taken through, and Hampus is going to lose his life as a result. It's like a clown car. You kill one, another pops out.
Like, where are they all coming from? Yeah, at this point, though, they don't really need to keep on forcing the fight from Secret or anywhere. They want to be a little bit more cautious, especially when they have damage towards Plopsky already. Are they aware is the question. Nice little double up on the scouts, though. As Trek goes down, Crims is there to go ahead and drop Twist as well. And yeah, it's all left onto the man who I had already mentioned was tagged up. So Plopsky, 32 health, 4 opponents, and just the Galil to try and really salvage anything in this situation, which isn't going to happen. There was actually one man still chilling down towards Secret, of course. So ready for that vent rotation. 3-1. Fnatic going to be able to bounce back, and with that now, NIP only, of course, been able to live with the one player in that previous round, but it coming down to Twist having the clutch out. They are just left with absolutely no money. They'll spend all of it, as you can see. They're able to get 1 AK at least on Hampus. They got Lil for Twist, but other than that, just pistols and pretty much no nades.
I'd like to see them use Threat as a bit more of a trade piece. I'm noticing that he's alive late in a lot of rounds, and that seems odd to me. I mean, I think he's done decently filling in for them in terms of the numbers he's been able to put up in the past, but you want to be able to mitigate that. This time it seems like he's going out first. He had the one smoke, there's the second smoke, and the molly and a secret to ruin their day. What are you going to do here? Almost wondering if a foot might be visible through the bottom of those smokes. Not going to happen. There is a gap. Now Golden, they can get down. So the molly just slowed them down, but it did allow JW to get in a position. And JW should be very well positioned for this. He's got the threat above, but it's up to him to get a multi-frag here, or at least get the kill and fade away. Oh, they're coming around. There's also this threat up top. The two rifles are going to be spotted. That's a big kill, though, for Hampus. That might rotate them back up, though. If they want to take some vent control and then do the pop-up up vent, that's a good option as well. Meanwhile, the outside guys are going to be working their way into position slowly but surely. Getting some ground towards heaven, clearing that out. Hampus getting the information. I think this is definitely going to wind up, or at least is intended to wind up being a pop-up the vent ladder.
It's a good way to close in the distance with those pistols. But, of course, as we can see, there is going to be still a bit of resistance down around the stairs before they can actually get towards the vents themselves. And, yeah, JW finding one, immediately being forced back off. Up on the upper half of the map, though, Fnatic not really having the same level of success, and it ends up being that split towards B instead. Using the ramp to get down, the bomb was dropped, so it'll delay a couple of extra seconds and allow for Fnatic to position themselves. But the bomb, it is going to go down relatively comfortably, and with that, give time now for NIP to set up on the after plant. But let's see, Brolin and Crims. Brolin at least is healthy. Crims has the kit and some nades there as well to work with. But will they be able to deal with the crossfire right now that's prepared? Twist flashed back off the angle, but as I said, the crossfire is ready. Tre had to be dealt with first. They're going to use them as the bait there, as you said that you wish they would. And it worked out well, but it's still Brolin. Can he find anything here as he goes up towards where both players are situated? And now the answer is no. Twist ends up just finishing it off on his own as teammate Stead tucked in the corner, and with that NIP, they managed to trade it back again. A back and forth affair, rather, here in the opening rounds. But considering now Nip have been able to win it back out once again, of course that means that Fnatic being on the CT side with a very fragile economy, they can't afford that great of a force buy if they want to fight back in again. So you might just see them take that eco.
Oh, they're going to go for it. They're going to do it.
They were
this
all
is interesting.
above 2,000. I think they're about 2,400 minimum on some. So, I mean, yeah, they wouldn't have had the greatest of buys if they took the eco, but we'll see what they can manage to do. One M4, a few pistols, and already one casualty.
Twist has gotten a kill outside of one of his clutches. We'll see if he's again going to get a multi-kill, because it seems like it's early, but so far, if he gets a kill, he's getting many, and they're winning the round. That's been the win condition for NIP. Back turned, Golden just looks away from the guy who's coming around the corner. I don't know what triggered him, what brought him back over, but he will pay the penalty for it. Nice kill, though, for Flusha. Oh my, and it's all falling apart. Crims from the locker gets him, and Flusha with the follow-up. This is looking so good for NIP, and then it just all tumbles down like a house of cards all at once.
Yeah, I had said it looked like NIP would have won out the back and forth, but no, I was completely wrong. Fnatic, they knew what they were doing with that force buy, apparently. Great round from Crims, from Golden as well, with that opening Deagle shot to actually make up for the fact that they had given one over to Twist in the first few seconds of that round. But obviously NIP, they're not going to let up on the pressure either. Being here on the T side of Nuke, they want to try and keep this up. If they can manage to win it back, of course, they want to try and finally get some control. But even if they just keep on going this way, it'd favor them on the T side, obviously. Let's see, though, very aggressive from JW. It's a very risky position to be in up against Pistols, closing in the distance and giving them a chance, but he at least gets 2 kills before he goes down. In theory, though, the M4, it could be retrievable, but they have to get past Golden first, and he doesn't really let that happen too well, at least getting 1 more kill before he concedes it. So it shouldn't be too big of an issue now that Plopsky has that weapon in his hands, but it gives the chance for maybe a bit more damage. We will see. Although, pretty quickly, Plopsky's gone, and yeah, now it's all on Twist. But with a Deagle in his hands, we know Twist can do some serious damage, and I was gonna say they're giving him some chances with that push from Brolan, but with the AK, he just comes through with a headshot of his own quickly. 5-2, finally, we do actually see a team being able to, I guess, pull some rounds together, being able to actually capitalize off the back of winning out the force buy. And yeah, with that, we should see Fnatic even going up towards 6 before the full gun round's available for NIP.
You got to imagine. You got to imagine. There's no way you can justify really going for much in this. So if you're NIP at this point, you're looking to go for a bomb plant. They've even Threats purchased over a Deagle and tossed it over to Twist, I think, just to see if he can get something. I almost think that might have been better spent on an HE to blow up for the vent play. You see they molly vent immediately just to prevent that fast play from coming through. So NIP's going to hold for a bit of a lobby crunch, get some control outside, but with Glocks, who really cares if you have control outside? See what they can do and maybe try and sneak in a cheeky bomb plant. That's the whole game plan for the round. Unlikely to have too much success. How does Hampus not get damaged? Was he around? Okay, from the Xbox that looked from the X-ray that looked very confusing. He was just around the corner of the red box. This is gonna be a massacre. Indeed it is. Roland's quite low, but no one's close enough to be able to punish. It's just Rez who remains. He's got the bomb at least. Flusher knows where he's at. He's brought in their cavalry, and he doesn't even need them.
Yeah, nothing shocking about that round. How the opening couple rounds had gone, though, I wouldn't have been surprised if something crazy happened there with so little for NIP. But thankfully, Fnatic didn't let us have any heart attacks in that one. But obviously now, back onto the full gun round, or onto the full gun round for NIP, is the first time we've seen both teams on a full buy. And even then, it's not quite perfect for NIP. They have a couple of Galils, unfortunately, just so they can have those nades. On Tret, obviously, you don't mind. And actually on Rez, who has 0 kills at the moment, I guess it's not as big of a deal either. But, I mean, yeah, Rez is a big fragger for NIP. You do ideally want him to be getting, well, to contribute, first of all, and then as well to have the AK rather than weaker weapons. But look at this from Plopsky. He sprinted all the way through outside. Obviously wasn't quiet about it, but JW, he had secretly got himself in the position down there, and he's going to have a pretty easy time as Plopsky just runs into the crosshair, and his flush and lines them up on ramp. Does get caught out in the open before he can do anything else. It's Tre who gets the trade, but I mean, it's the 2-on-4, and even then, Tret wasn't able to do so cleanly. He gets dropped to 55 himself.
Looking rather dire. JW close up by the shutters. Should be able to shutter their hopes into this round. Red's going to come around first. That's the kill. Now it's all under Threat. The coach will serve himself up on a silver platter, head first, straight into the crosshair, and that is going to be Fnatic climbing to 7. I mean, it's what we normally expect from a CT Nuke side. Earlier, I think we were offsetting expectations because that big ends game got so very spicy on the attack at times. It was quite an interesting one. But this seems like business as usual. And as we've talked about, obviously with Threat in the server, Threat in an actual game role as opposed to in the coaching slot, it's a limitation. It's a serious limitation for this team. They're going to come rocking out a hut, and everybody's going to die. Quick suicide cult. Everybody walking through the flames, straight into the bullets. And what else do you say about that one? They wanted to get it over with quickly, and, well, they succeeded, Dean.
Yeah, I mean, and the Molotov had been put down just as they were pushing out, so that was a little bit unfortunate. They were pretty much on the brink of death as they ran into the AK of Brolan already. But yeah, 8-2. I mean, as we said, we weren't expecting too much in that round. It was NIP trying to get it over with quickly. Their hope would have been a couple kills and maybe a bomb plant, but without it, even then, they're still able to get a pretty solid investment here. No ops available. It wasn't really possible. They maybe yeah, they only would have had the opportunity for Glass Cannon. It would have been probably Hampus then that could have gone for it, but that was unlikely, and as you can see, it indeed doesn't happen. But Rez, he's 0 and 10 right now. We need him to step up for sure, especially when you have the coach, of course, coming in. You need everyone else fragging. You need Tret right now to be the one that's kind of leading the way tactically, and for everyone else then to be at full capacity in terms of delivering frags, but it's not really the case for the moment. This is an important gun round, and you could see some good damage there off of that nade, I believe, but hang on, Flush, it could potentially get caught. Yeah, on the reload. Well played. Tret is able to creep in, but they don't expect Golden on the end of the ramp, and to be fair, neither did I. So, yeah, I'll let him away with that one, but good trades back. NIP have managed to retain that man advantage. Oh, Brolin's flanking through lobby real quick.
He might have had the bomb as well. No one's got the bomb, so they've switched positions. The CTs have swapped sides with the Ts. NIP have control towards lower. They have control out towards heaven. They got control all over the map, including ramp room. Meanwhile, Fnatic don't realize it, but they have the bomb. And they've given it up. Golden's down in lower. Crims came back in from lobby. He's going to get shot in the back, so this is falling apart. The spread approach from NIP is working out because Fnatic just have no idea which way to turn. They've been concentrated into the center, so they got to look at every angle. And now Golden, well, he's going to try and cover up his drop down to reposition. But I don't think he's long for this world. They don't have to deal with him. They can just go upper. Don't even have to take the fight. And if he pops open this door, there's going to be a player immediately to his right to punish. And there it is. Rez looked a little choppy, but he's going to get the kill, and that's what matters. A third round for NIP with 4 surviving. A chance to make this look a little more interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Fnatic have incredible economy themselves. Obviously, it's enough for a buyback in. You would expect that after winning out, what was it, 5 rounds in a row or something? But, yeah, I mean, after reinvesting here, a couple of the players are a tiny bit low. It'd still have to be another round after this, unfortunately, because I think even then Flusher would be dropped by Golden in the next, so they would be able to just about scrape it out. But there's a chance. NIP, they take this one, they take the next, and then you can still see them even coming out with 7 rounds at the half, which would be a fantastic recovery. But this is me obviously trying to be as optimistic as possible, literally as possible, because that is going to be incredibly difficult for them to do.
I think 5 rounds. 5 rounds is what you're going for. If you can get 5 rounds, you're pretty comfortable coming out of this one in the second half, especially considering the limitations of Threat. On CT side, you can move him around a little bit more, hide him a bit more, perhaps, and it could work out for them. It's also sometimes maybe being able to hold an angle. There's places where you can mitigate having to play with a coach to a greater degree, I would say. But we'll see. We'll see what they can do. They've got some control in towards many. Big kill from Twist. That's a substantial one. Crim's going to be able to trade it out. But now things are getting dangerous indeed. Are they going to expect Broland by second vents, considering Crims was here? Oh, that's a big miss shot. Tons of information, but the JW doesn't get the kill, and that's just a leg as well. So much damage done now. Broland has revealed his presence, but he's turned it into 2 kills. Is it enough? Perhaps. Flusha brings it back to a clutch. Now the bomb's going to be planted. They know where he's at. Flusha has a choice to make. He's going to go back up heaven, hearing the bomb plant come in, and that nade will soften up Plopsky. Oh my! Very much so. It's the tenderizer shot, but Plopsky's got the death blow. Op retrieved, round for NIP, and they're making this happen, Dean. They are battling back into this game.
Indeed. I mean, it wasn't a clean round, as you said. Plopsky having to come up clutch, but they're doing it. They're breaking down the economy, finally, of Fnatic. They win out this one, then suddenly they're up against an eco, and as I said, at that point, the dream maybe of 7 rounds is still alive. But yeah, they'll be aiming for around 5 in the minimum, as you said, so they're getting close to that mark, at least giving themselves a respectable half at the very least. Well, let's see. They might actually be looking for, I thought initially, a quicker A play potentially. Just wanted to get the op over towards the door, but look at this from Golden. He's getting flashed out through that smoke as well, but he doesn't realize Hampus had already crossed up close. Fortunately elsewhere, Flusha actually wins out on his engagement, which is actually over towards ramp there, as you can see. So they do at least manage to keep it in the 4-on-4, and even health-wise, it's slightly favouring Fnatic up until that kill comes in. Oh, Brolin. He's played around this position a couple times now, and it's not even going to be watched at all, but Rez, never mind, it was a bait-in. I didn't even realize. This round has just crumbled for Fnatic as Twist, he propels them ahead. And as Rez ends it there on the AWP. So yeah, he's come to life as well. That's what you want to see.
Nice play from Rez. Yeah, quieter through the beginning of the game, but now starting to wake up, perhaps. About to put that genie back in a bottle. It's actually impressive that the scoreline is so close when you consider the board for NIP. They've only got 1 player positive on Twist, but these last few rounds have felt like a rebirth for the squad. So they've secured 5 rounds. Now the money is broken for Fnatic, and that that pipe dream scenario you had painted where theoretically NIP could get back to 7 is looking a lot more real. Certainly a 6th round here up against the Deagles. This is your opportunity. You got to be able to realize it, though. We've seen Force Buys work against them before. There's a player down vent. There's Golden holding for Mini. Deploying utility to slow down the secret play and allow JW to get in position on the secret steps. This could be spicy. JW could pull off a lot here. Is someone watching for it? Rez looks like it, but there's the shot. It's a miss. Does he reset? He still wants to go for it. There's a Molotov. That's going to force him back and make up his mind.
Or is it?
Yeah, it was a little shallower than I thought it would be.
Plus it's JW. He doesn't always follow the logic you might want to go off of. Oh, yeah, maybe you should have fell back, man. Paying the price with those nades. Yeah, I think NIP realized, yeah, no, a Molotov isn't enough to deter JW from aggressing a position, so they decided to follow with the HEs. Works out fantastically well for them to give the advantage in their favor, and also, of course, allow for them to start now moving down through Secret, where it's going to be Golden, and he's going to need to, well, be Golden indeed with his Deagle if he wants to give his team a chance in this round. But he has the angle, looks to try and take one and then fall back off, or at least I thought that would have been the goal, but when he misses the first shot, does stick around, and with that gets easily overran by the numbers that the T's are able to deliver. And yeah, it's looking like it's going to be fairly straightforward as you would have expected. Crims gets caught trying to toss his nade in, and at this point, Brolin probably just wants to save that for Mass so they have something to work with in this final round.
I think he'll be allowed to do so. He's crawling away. Ninjas in pajamas. They've got some mercy. It's like, okay, you can keep that FAMAS. We'll keep the round.
They're already in the pajamas, so they're just resting.
Yeah. Lounging back, kicking it up, pulling the recliner. I'm practically still in my pajamas here.
Yeah, we'll give you a break. You woke up really early for this. What time was it actually?
We're hitting reasonable hours for me. It's almost noon.
It's almost noon.
It'll be noon on the iron. So that's a reasonable hour. I don't know if you heard it during the last BO3. There was one point where my normal alarm, which is set for 11 a.m., went off because I had forgotten to disable it.
I don't think I heard it come true. No.
I grabbed it fast enough. There we go. It's a professional caster right here. We got a bit of a pause coming through here. It seems we've had a player drop from the Fnatic side. That didn't take long.
Okay. I didn't even notice because of the custom hood. Oh, he's back now. Okay, cool. That's probably why I didn't notice then.
Just too quick. We couldn't even catch him off guard. So at least we're going to have all 5 players to mount this last round defense. But man, if NIP get this back to 7, all of my expectations for this map have just been subverted, Dean.
Yeah, I still feel like it's going to be fairly difficult once they swap over. I want to see how they're going to approach the map with Tre. He's obviously not just going to fill in on Nox positions, I wouldn't imagine. So it'll be interesting to see where they put him and if it's a position that Fnatic could maybe focus and exploit or not. But obviously, they want to try and still come out with their 9th round here on the CT side. So we'll see if that's possible. NIP, I had said I was being very optimistic when I was saying that the 7 was still a possibility. But yeah, they've really managed to turn it around. And it's looking pretty likely at this point. Rez, actually, he doesn't get the kill, but he did connect the shot on Golden. And when they're already so limited with firepower, just limiting the health as well isn't going to help out at all. Quick towards ramp, though. They don't expect JW to still be here. Nearly followed up with another on the Deagle, but Plopsky thankfully gets the weapon out in time. A 3-on-3. And there's some masses across the board for Fnatic. This is still very winnable.
It certainly is. That decision by Twist, just running out with a Molotov, sprinting full forward, not expecting a player either to be on the ramp or tucked to the right. A little bit of a bold judgment call, but he assumed it would be clear. And, well, you know what happens when you assume, Dean.
Can we say it?
This, I don't think so. I'm gonna let the chat draw their own conclusions from that one about you and me. Plopsky and Rez. Slow things down. Look at this. They're letting Hampus get into position. And Hampus nearly gets there, but Crims was ready for the punish. That's a big kill to find. If Hampus had been able to get back up and punish the Heaven player, I think this round's likely over. But Crims, he's aware. Ever aware. And now, pressure on for NIP.
Yeah, Brolin's the one that's down here. It's just in towards the double doors. So, I mean, depending on where they try and plant this bomb, maybe they're going to have the space to do so. Brolin didn't actually take the peek out, so he doesn't know they've already crossed along the rafter at this point. So yeah, there is a bit of room here for Plopsky to drop down in securely and get that bomb planted behind the silo. But no, that's not going to be the goal. He actually was still up at the top of the ramp itself. Or rather, up on ramp itself with the bomb. Now it's being dropped and Rez is left alone. He just can't do this. I don't imagine there's a player already up close. He needs that kill. Then he needs to be able to get the bomb planted. Trying to jump in, but he
just has time.
Does he?
No, he does.
No,
just in time.
Oh,
He's going to die
but he
coming
gets
off
caught.
of it, but he got the plant. He literally hit the button as the number was changing through to 3, which means he still just had time. Woo!
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he had got it with the 4.5 or so that was necessary. Oh, that was way too close right there. But Fnatic, they managed to get the 9th round, and importantly done so with a relatively weak buy. So coming out with the 9 rounds, it gives you a little bit of security for if that pistol round is lost especially. But they still want to pick it up. Fnatic, they don't want to let Nip get that pistol round and start feeling comfortable and keep on building up with that confidence that they got over those past few rounds. But of course, guys, we're going to have to send it over to a quick break. Stick around, and we'll be back as soon as, of course, we are ready to get back into the second half of this map. As we said, guys, it would not be a long break for the halftime. We are already back, and we're back into the action indeed. 9-6 at the halftime. Fnatic, they salvaged that final round. They done it with a pretty weak buy as well. That has to be noted. So getting themselves maybe a little bit more confidence to kick off this pistol round. But we said it is still a very important pistol for both of these sides.
That it is. Hampus, knowing the importance, is going to get things started off on the right foot. Already a kill, a bit of damage onto Crims to add a little bit of a cherry on top, and that's going to be Crims unable to escape, so they're down to 3. They've got that lower control. They've also lost most of their armored players. Brolin and Flusha do not have any armor between them. They've already used their utility as well, and Flusha is stuck upside. He's not with his teammates. Brolin, coming up the ramp, should buy enough time for his teammate to plant. If he hadn't been there, they likely would have been able to punish, but it's now just down to these two to hang on in a 2v5. Brolin starts it off well. Two players are quite low, but Brolin needs to hit these shots. He's down in the rat hole, and he is just trying to survive. Eventually, he'll be overwhelmed, and it's left to JW, who's all the way back up by Vents. Smoke goes down. They're going for the defuse. JW cannot land this death blow, and that's just going to be the defuse in his face. Frustrating for JW not to be able to find that shot, and he will have to bail on out of there.
Yeah, I mean, he lives with the Kevlar. That's a little bit of a help, especially if they are going to go for the force buy here. But with the bomb plant going down and with the still being at 9-7 right now, I think probably just going for a couple kills in this round and likely conceding over the 8th to NIP. But then, of course, getting your buyout as early as possible would be the better approach. But no, they're going to go for it. They heard me and they were like, oh, that Dean guy's terrible at CS. I better do the opposite then.
Makes sense.
Two Galils, I mean, they have a couple of rifles at least to work. The Mac-10 on Crims, Flush it with a Deagle, that's scary. Golden on a Tech 9, they have plenty of nades, or at least a decent amount. So, especially when you look at the weapons then that NIP have in play, with a shotgun, a FAMAS, and an MP9 being kind of their weaker weapons, you have to say what Fnatic have certainly can stand up against it, but will they be able to is the question.
It can. That first kill is not great. That's one of their rifles down too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh, down outside,
in a position where
completely
they're
isolated,
not
not
going to retrieve
recoverable.
it, yeah.
Now Threat's got the follow-up. This is really looking dire. That's their second big gun down for the count. This one at least can be garnered for a teammate. Flush is going to be able to pick that one up, but he's going to be the play. That's a kill at least, but Plopsky's out with the XM, and Rez shuts him down with the AUG, showing that gun is still very much viable on a map like Nuke, and bringing it to within one. NIP now looking for the equalizer, and they shouldn't have much resistance to do so. Fnatic, there's no way they can justify investing into this round.
Yeah, surely not. I mean, I don't mind that they went for the force buy, but now they need to take the eco just to ensure that they can try and at least get their buy out before NIP snatch away the lead. Obviously a chance here, though, for NIP to continue building up their economy, not doing a bad job from that previous one either, and actually going straight for the AUG there on towards Plopsky, so it's only the two weaker weapons that are being retained. Ideally, you want Tret maybe to get a few kills with the Mac-10 and add to his money, but we'll see what happens. There is a Deagle in play here in the hands of Crims, as well as in the possession of Brolin and Golden, so it's not like there's no chance here for Fnatic to try and actually get some damage output. Doesn't start off too well once again, though, as the AUGs are having a fun time outside, and they're such a great choice for these opening couple of rounds when you know you're going to be up against pistols, and you don't see it too often. Oh, but there we go. Brolin eventually getting one. At least a small victory for Fnatic to take out of this round. And maybe if Golden could get one more frag at that point, it's actually relatively substantial damage and actually it could impact NIP then coming into the first gun round if they were to lose it, especially.
He has to, though, here, because the thing is that they've just lost a Mac-10. Threats dropped a Mac-10, retrieved the AUG. They're A-okay. This is smooth sailing, so if they do want to have impact, they need one more kill for it to matter at all. There's even a ton of utility being held. NIP aren't bothering walking through it or working through it. Rather, they're just going to hold and get this last fight because they know Golden's got nothing to work with. He doesn't even have the bomb. So at this point, he's just hoping to do that damage. Maybe find a gun, and missing the first shot. That's the only shot he's going to get. Twist will be fine to hold on to this. So a tied scoreline. Good money for NIP. A chance to push on forward here, and the op coming out for Rez as well. This is a spicy round now because this is a chance for NIP to really push Fnatic down and continue on their path. Or maybe for Fnatic to offset the course. Now, it does have to be stated, this is NIP's map pick. This is a map they wanted to play into the veto, so they are clearly quite comfortable on it with Threat. One of the things you and I were talking about before we went live is their map vetoes might be informed by what they've had a chance to work through with Threat actually in a player role. Obviously, he knows the way people play, but you got to shift people around perhaps to give him an opportunity. He's going to go 1-on-1 early, getting aggressive, and I'd say that's a pretty good result for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was worked up until Rez went down. Yeah, definitely being able to get a 1-for-1 for Tretton in the opening moments of the round is a decent enough trade. Obviously, it wouldn't always be favorable on the CT side, but in that case, you probably would say so. Then losing Rez, it makes things certainly more difficult, and it forces NIP to keep on forcing the issue themselves to try and salvage the position. And Plopsky, he does get that kill back in towards lobby, but he himself not staying too healthy, so it's not ideal. Dropped to 19 health at this point. Fnatic, they are grouping up to bring it on towards A, but they don't expect Hampus to take that peek in from Garage. He catches the back exposed of JW, but he's not able to get any more. Golden and Brolin sweeping up the kills. Suddenly, it is all on Twist. He's going to have to move in through Hell. The Molly, though, is certainly going to delay that rotation, as he may consider wrapping around towards main, potentially. But nah, he's going to stick here for now. Definitely wants to move in. Does he know how low both of these players are, though? Maybe not to the exact extent, but he should know damage has been done.
He should have an idea. Golden just below the lip. He's just got to check deep. Players in smoke as well, but Brolin from the hut, while he's trying to clear that smoke, recognizing that there's a player in it, Brolin takes advantage. Nicely played from Fnatic, and they stay on top. They stay winning. So that was a big round. It was interesting. One thing I'm finding interesting here in IP, and I think they're going to get away from it, they were playing with the Augs, but they're also very willing to take the Augs into tight fights, which one of the things since the Aug nerf a long time ago at this point, was a year ago, the lower fire rate means that in a tight fight against an AK, the Aug is really not what you want to have. M4, much more favorable.
Sorry, man, you just gave me a time shock there this last year. It's
Right?
so slow. It's so slow and so quick at the same time. I don't know. It depends what way you're looking at it. Yeah, no. We'll see how this goes now for NIB. They're so limited on nades after the first few seconds even of this round. They have the smokes, I suppose, the main things to work with. They do have a kit as well on Twist, but it's a very important round, of course, for them right now. And I guess both teams realizing that aren't really going to be doing anything crazy in the opening seconds. It's a slow approach initially from Fnatic, until eventually they will begin to put those smokes down towards outside. But as we said, Hampus, he is positioned up close right now, and they're going to try and push around that smoke. Oh, he wanted to wait for more. I like the idea, but it's so unfortunate that Brolin flicks in and hits a ridiculous headshot afterwards. Can Rez pull anything back? He nearly lined them up, actually, and oh, he did. Golden got tagged down. Re-peeks back in, finishes him off, and with that now just needs to ensure he stays alive. He'll actually have Plopsky come in so that they can peek that together, even flicking back towards the door and doing a bit of damage on flushes. So a 2-on-4, and they're just pushing everywhere. The confidence right now being displayed from Nip as Twist cleans up the final two. 10-10.
I'm glad that worked out for NIP because I felt so bad for Hampus. You could actually see the gears turning in Brolin's head. He goes through the smoke. He's like, garage is clear. No one's in mini. I'm not getting peeked from any angle. Computing. He's right next to me. Swing, tap, insta-death.
It was so unfortunate. But you can't blame him because you don't want to shoot there with just the one out in the open and then immediately get traded on if there's someone on silo and if they're just going to spam you back through the smoke and such. So yeah, he wanted to at least ensure 2 kills from that position, and unfortunately that time around it didn't work out. Nicely timed molly though to actually stop that quick A push from Fnatic. They were looking to try and move out the door, and it looks like they probably will still favor on towards A, but the hut itself had also been mollied. He had some players up on the roof. Had they thrown in their execute already, perhaps? No, they just didn't really buy up any nades, I suppose, but that's still a good opening from JW. He's all the way down on B at this point, and oh, maybe he can even catch the back of Hampus right now. Thankfully, he's been able to get himself across the scaffolding, or the railings for now, rather. And Twist seems to have pretty much, at this point, salvaged the situation for Nip. There shouldn't be too much more trouble.
Tech9s and Fnatic. An iconic pairing. Not going to get results in this one. So NIP in the lead. 11-10, and we're going to have a pause come in here. This one coming from the Fnatic side as they try and figure out, okay, we're starting to run out of rope here. How are we going to make the best of our remaining available opportunities? They've already purchased in. They've already forced up. JW presumably be limited, so it's not going to be ideal. A MAC 10 coming out for somebody, or at least a Galil. He could make a Galil work. But this round could be interesting. NIP have a real chance to start to pocket this one, to start to walk away with it, take it to the bank, get a loan on it, insure it, you know, take out future securities based on the value of this round. We're thinking long-term here. We're thinking 401k, IRA, other words that I don't really understand.
Yeah, well, that second one has a different meaning here.
That is a very different context to the two of us, huh?
I know what you meant, though, just because obviously exposed to so much American culture, movies, TV shows, everything. But yeah, I mean, this is, as you said, there's a lot of weight behind this round right now. If NIP can take it, then they have an opportunity to start getting relatively close to the finish line here on Nuke before they actually have to go up against the guns again. So we'll see what way it goes. Rez, though, early on, he's actually been, I believe, spammed down. Not sure exactly where. Yeah, towards outside at the moment. Must have got spammed maybe then through the foot right there. Either way, though, drop the 46. He's going to have to play a little bit more passive maybe with the up towards outside, but it shouldn't really affect their setup too much because Hampus right now, he's just tucked in on Secret, waiting for the op really to find that first line of contact. And then he'll hope to maybe catch a couple players. Although it does seem like he might have the attack coming directly towards him. That Molly's going to delay him from crossing over for the moment. And Hampus, he tries to use a one-way smoke, but of course Brolin, he realized that the smoke had been dropped down, so he was cautious of it and finds himself a pretty easy kill. So the opening frag, it goes the way of Fnatic, but Rez, he catches one just as the smoke fades away. Oh, and he knows there's another who's going to be, at this point, pretty much stuck from crossing over.
They've seen the shadow as well. I think of the player on top of many, so they know that he's there. This is some interesting information that they can operate off of, but the two players down low, Twist, you can see he's taking a really bold angle trying to play around the double doors. If they open this, he just wants to immediately punch them in the jaw. They want this outside fight, though. JW's been tagged. Plopsky's now going to get that kill on JW. Here comes Twist. They're coming back up, but he's gone past them. Didn't realize they'd gone into control room. So that's a path to a plant. It's only going to be Golden and Brolan. The Twist, the guardian of the lower site, he's given up his responsibility. Love that Molotov as well. Buys them some extra time. Meanwhile, they've got control of the ramp room. This is actually a decent setup for the 2v3. With the time ticking down, kits are available, but no smokes for NIP, so they need to win these fights sooner rather than later because that bomb is wide out in the open for these two angles. Door gonna pop. There's the decon door open. Some spam coming through. They're running out of time. NIP, they gotta get a move on. Gotta get some ants in their pants. Gotta get moving. It's not gonna happen. They're down. They're out. Rez, can he even escape? He's definitely lost this round. He's going to be able to get away, but it's going to be Fnatic tying up the scoreline and taking a very critical round.
Yeah, as you said, that was just such a strong afterplant right there from Brolan and Golden. Unfortunately, Brolan ends up going down to the bomb, which isn't ideal when Fnatic are trying to actually get themselves back into this and try and get some control here on the T side, some long-term control. But, of course, it's not going to impact their buy right now. I don't think it will anyway. JW is a little bit low on money, so he's going to have to be dropped over. I would imagine Golden is given one, and indeed ends up being a Galil he actually gets himself. So, yeah, I mean, it's not perfect for Fnatic coming back into this buy. They're going to have to try and chain together the second round now with a slightly weaker investment than the previous. But if they win this one, that's when they will break down the money finally for NIP, and at that point would be allowed to go ahead and get themselves back into the lead with a couple of rounds, potentially.
Slower round. Much slower round from Fnatic. You can see how far they're hanging back. It's not really that much of a change up in pace for NIP, although a little bit softer outside control than we've seen in a couple of rounds. Just hanging further back towards spawn and up into heaven. But it's going to work out. Oh, Rez misses the shot. Thought he was about to have him, but JW appears to duck that one. Some damage through from Brolan, but it's negligible. Now the space taken towards Secret. They've got it. Oh, I was going to say scot-free, but no, JW gets claimed. He's the exit fee, the last piece of billing here, and now Hampus knows that they're coming his way. Plopsky comes in for the reinforcement. They've got a two-pronged assault here. Hampus first contact, Plopsky on the swing, only one for him, but that's done enough. It's Crims and Flusha, and they're both completely isolated. Crims tucked in here just to see if he can get some damage, maybe allow the time for Flusha to get in position, because Flusha has to create a little bit of space for his teammate.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
The Galil and unfortunately the metal bars, they're going to block in some of the bullets. We've seen some awkward sprays like that throughout the games today, unfortunately. Grim's nearly getting wall bang. Ends up, of course, confirming his position there by spamming back, but it doesn't really matter at that point. He was running low on time already. He was completely outnumbered, and as you can see, there was a player already ready towards outside to catch him as he moved up through the vent. So there it is. NIP, they immediately tried back. We had said this slightly limited investment from Fnatic, thanks to the extra damage, even that extra death, of course, after the bomb going off and killing Brolan in the one before, it seems to have cost them a bit. Now they're looking at an eco. NIP should be able to go up with that 13 to 11. And they've really salvaged things here on Nuke. They had, of course, a pretty poor start initially, and then pulling it back up to 6 rounds on that T side, and they haven't slowed down since. Fnatic, they're trying to pull a pause out on NIP.
Gotta cut the tempo. I gotta make a decision here as well. We know Fnatic loves their force buys. They love getting into it. I don't think they can justify it at this point. I think they're gonna have to concede the 13th round to NIP and really go back in with the AKs and the utility. They've come to be a little bit reliant on those secret smokes. We've seen that from them a lot of rounds. And to be fair, they've had a lot of success getting down. That last round, Rez manages to pluck JW just as it seems like they're about to escape. And that, to me, is all the difference in the moment in the round. But I think it might be time for a little bit of a pace change up. I'm surprised we haven't seen more pressure towards ramp room as well, because Threat is playing that room. They've moved some other pieces around beyond him, but at the end of the day, once you've identified what the coach is holding, put the pressure on, man. See if you can't test him.
Yeah, I mentioned that even in the first half. I was wondering where Threat was going to be situated, if he was someone that they could maybe try and exploit a bit. We'll see if that's going to be maybe something that Fnatic could focus a bit more on in the next gun round. But then again, you also want to make sure you're playing your own game, right? So yeah, you don't want to change things up too much just because of one player and get kind of fixated on that one goal.
It actually takes me back to, and this is a very different round, but when Furia made Pro League at Global Challenge a while ago. God, that was so long ago. They were playing against Singularity, and Gary had to play because Abel J at the time, one of their players, couldn't get into the country.
Oh, okay.
At some for one reason or another. I don't remember the exact situation, but he couldn't get across the border. And so they wound up playing with Gary, and there was a Nuke game where Gary was holding ramp, and Singularity identified it and tried to threaten him, and he just dumpstered them round after round after round with a Mag 7 most of the time, as I recall. Really just held ramp like a champ. So, coaches in ramp room. It's an iconic duo. This is a path towards a lower plant, and suddenly bodies are dropping. There's only 2 survivors. This could be a huge swing round here. NIP with Plopsky and Twist have to somehow try and draw this one back, and this might be a save, Dean.
Yeah, it might have to be. Even with the save, though, they wouldn't have enough to get the buy-in, so it's such an awkward spot. If Fnatic steal this round away, it's going to put them back into the lead, so it looks like Plopsky and Twist, they do still want it, but it's costing them even to get these initial kills. As you can see, Plopsky on 10 health, Twist is surprisingly the healthy one, as he sits on 34, but the damage being done right now, Golden spammed down and finished off. It's all on Crims. They have a chance to recover this, but they need to get going quick, because the bomb, it's taken away, but it's up close in a position where Crims, he can't do much about stopping the defuse. And of course, with no head, you're definitely not doing anything.
What a recovery for NIP. What a recovery. I mean, I was counting them out, thinking about the save, and they have no intention of honoring me with that. They're going straight into it. The 2v4, 1 back, and at a critical juncture as well. That might have been the round, the straw that broke this camel's back. But they don't have to worry about that here. They really do not. So 13 rounds for NIP, a 2-round buffer. But here's where Fnatic get to execute their plan. They got so close with pistols. Dean. Now they got the AKs. Now they got the utility. And they've got a very brittle Ninjas in Pyjamas economy on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, even though they didn't win that, as you said, obviously, it does ruin the money of their opponents, but they still need to come back in this gun round. Maybe they felt a bit more freedom there with the pistols. Are they going to be able to do better than that now that they have the rifles in their hands? Slowing things down initially, looking to burst out the door, as you can see, and catching Plopsky perfectly with that flash, but he traded positions, went in behind them, and with that, only able to catch 1 player, actually. Unfortunately, Tret as well, quickly dispatched of, and now Fnatic sitting with a man advantage. NIP this time, do they want to attempt the retake? I think no. Saving will allow for Twist to drop over a weapon, and with that, for them to get a pretty strong investment, Tret probably going to be stuck on a weaker weapon himself, but that wouldn't be the end of the world. At least they would have a decent buy overall.
Compass might even be able to drop something over. I'm not quite sure. No loss bonus. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty rough. It's gonna be a bit meager. Depends on the decision they want to make.
But then he would limit his own nades in terms of repurchase and backup himself. I don't know, you in a normal situation you would, but Tret's not having a great game, 6-20. Yeah. But then again, is that even more reason to give him the better weapon to optimize his chances of a kill? I've always wondered about that. There's a couple different ways to look at it.
I think it's time for him to pick up the mantle of the Mag 7.
Oh, maybe that's what the coaches need. Maybe it's the only weapon they can use efficiently on Nuke.
Makes sense. Let's see. What does Threat can go for?
Picked it up so dramatically. What was he at one point? Was it 008, I think?
It was. He's had an incredible resurgence. That AWP in the second half as well has been critical. A lot of the picks outside have come from him. He's been moving it around effectively on Nuke. Been a big piece of what they've been able to accomplish so far this map. Oh, burning on top of the hut. Threat's got to get out of there. It won't matter what gun he has if he burns alive. There's a player down vent, and I don't think it was seen. So JW, they've got to be aware it's a possibility, but he might be the unknown factor of this round. He's already got control in towards the control room, and so much space towards lower. This is potentially the ace in the hole. Unfortunately for him, windows aren't broken, so this limits his path of travel unless they can make a distraction loud enough for him to pop the glass.
Yeah, even then, it sometimes can still be heard, so we'll see what they'll decide to do now with that control. Crims, I was going to say, could catch just aggression on ramp, but they did at least have Golden ready for the trade. So Rez falls after only 1. The ramp room with that is going to be given over to the T side, and Flush it, lurking towards outside up on the hood, able to catch Hampus's head over the blue box as he started to rotate. And now with the man advantage, I was going to say, it's looking pretty good. But the only thing was, Flush, obviously, he had no way to join up with his teammates. So they're going to be able to isolate that fight. And then JW gets dropped as the bomb's getting planted. Suddenly, it's back in favor of NIP, at least in terms of the manpower.
Threat's made his presence felt. That closed the decon door in his face. And here's the patrol, but that's a big kill for Brolan. Takes a ton of space and gets 2 more. Brolan with the turn. Brolan with the 3K to secure 13 for Fnatic.
He's 23 to 14 right now. As you would expect, Brolan topping that scoreboard. He's a monster, always has been. Yeah, they've broken down Nip with that. Going back to, of course, the round as well, even the one where they got close with the pistols. That's what ruined the economy for NIP, and now they're looking at a full eco. It's going to be Fnatic likely reclaiming the lead for the first time in a little while, as all we see is some pistols and then a Zeus. The Zeus is the main thing right now. It's been bought up for Blubsky. I want to see if he's going to be able to get a kill. It's more, obviously, it's not really an economic thing or anything. It's more about you get a kill with the Zeus, maybe tilt someone a tiny bit. It can be used quite well if there's a player on his own as well for you to retrieve a weapon. But if there's anyone else nearby for a trade, you're never going to have a chance to actually get the gun out. There we go. Close range opportunities potentially, and he gets it. Roland, he's shocked. I heard him type in the chat there.
Get that Wilhelm scream of the CS world out and onto the field. Just gonna be Rez left with the Deagle. They found 2 kills at the very least. There's been some damage done. Brolin spammed. Nice shot. NS. In
a tilted way?
No, I think he was pretty happy with it.
Oh, okay. Nice shot.
You gotta respect it when the Zeus comes out. There was some giggles coming out.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be too upset. His teammates did at least handle the situation then. As Rez gets himself an AK. Really not a bad find when you look at Nip's money. If he can manage to get this to somewhere where he can save securely, that would be fantastic. Oh, he's on 78 ADR as well now. I don't know if that was set at the halftime or not. It was just worth noting because I remember when he was 0.08, he was on like 4 ADR. But yeah, it does look like the AK will be brought over. And with that, we should see the buy coming in from NIP, of course, but it's do or die. It's 14 already for Fnatic. If they win out this next gun round, at that point, they should have a pretty easy path to closing out Nuke. And as we had mentioned before, this is the map choice of NIP, so they really don't want to be letting this slip away from them with Den Inferno following, which is such a great map for Fnatic.
I mean, the reality is you're coming into this, you know that the coach is playing, you know that they've got to stand in your favorite Fnatic every day of the week, and I think we're seeing why. Ninjas and Pyjamas have made it so interesting, have made it a battle, but now we find out if they've got enough sauce to get this going. If the 4 players with their stand-in coach can bring enough firepower to the fray. Aggression from Hampus might be the ticket. He's gotten into secret, actually. He's not going to go up by the red box. He will fade off. He's got a tuck-up angle to see if they come and threaten him, and it's going to be Threat, who gets pressured, pops off a couple shots, falls immediately, doesn't favor the fight. He wants to buy time for his teammates to come in and trade off of him, and that makes a lot of sense. Hampus has just made noise, though, and Brolin knows. Brolin's aware of it. So now it's who gets the better, and he still succeeds. Brolin had all of the audio cues, wanted to get the punishment, but the timing just wasn't there for it, so a huge kill for Hampus.
Yeah, one that's really needed. It helps them with the kind of lack of nades, with the weaker weapon for Tret as well. Tret has just been destroyed by JW down on B. Yeah, that's going to be the bomb at least getting planted down here now, and at least it is Nip getting a quick rotation in. They're actually set up before that bomb can even be begun to be put in place, rather. But what can they do about it now is the question. They aren't going to be immediately pouncing on it. We do see the door being opened. That unfortunately left Plopsky a little bit exposed as he took damage. Hampus at least was able to pop out for that frag on JW, but can he get the return here on towards Flush? And no, he cannot, as it's all on Twist and Rez to save the day. Oh, I don't know. Did they run away and save? Is that an option? I would say it's one that's definitely something to be considered. Yeah, it is, as you said. The 2-on-3 is doable, sure. But if they lose it, then they have nothing to fight for the overtime. And Twist, he's struggling with the first fight. Rez at least is going to win his out, but as you can hear, the bomb has already hit that 10-second warning. So even with the kit, Rez, there wouldn't really be enough time for him to deal with both players and get that defuse in. So he is forced to run away, and it means only one weapon is going to be saved. He can at least drop over to someone. Maybe he'll get the op for himself and give the AK away. But that's going to be all they have in terms of rifles, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's such an unfortunate way to lose that round as well. I'm sure Twist is kicking himself. He had a very winnable duel with Crims, but just couldn't line up the spray with the FAMAS. It got away from him. So we're going to have Rez with the AWP. We've got a FAMAS out for Twist. We've got that dropped over AK and a couple of SMGs. It's not a bad buy, all things considered. But NIP, they can make no mistakes at this point. They have to run this through. This is the last chance on their map pick Flopsky looking to shut down the door, looking to close this out, and Fnatic with a bit of a change-up coming out towards the upper site. They haven't done this in a long time. JW sitting in the smoke, despite all the spam coming back his way. He's found damage onto Flopsky, and now he'll back out. What was that shot from Rez?
I don't know.
What?
I
2 for the price of 1?
Somehow got a collide, yeah. Oh, and they don't even let up on the aggression after that advantage. Plopsky kept going forward on the MP9. Well, this round has very quickly gone to NIP, and now look at... I was going to say look at the Fnatic economy. I saw Crims on 1800. I was like, are they low on money? But no, Golden, he makes up for it easily, so he'll be able to drop over. They'll have a pretty good buy into this final round. But are we going to see an overtime? Do you believe, Mike? Can Nip do it? Can they pull off this magical moment with their coach on 7-23?
I do now. After that shot from Rez. Everybody else is above 20, so that compensates for Threat being on 7-23. You know what? If he can coach them to carry him, that's all fine. That's what you got to do.
That's what he's doing. He's just telling them to carry him.
Yeah, that's great words of wisdom from Threat. Right now, he's just like, all right, boys, you got to pretend it's a 4v5 in every round and carry me to glory, and I'll try and do what I can. And it's working.
You probably used to
one round away.
That, are you, Mike?
I'm used to losing a lot of games. I'm actually, in the group of people that I'm playing with right now, the most experienced Counter-Strike player, which tells you our average skill level. So games have been rough.
I don't think I've ever played with you, to be fair.
I dropped 44 in an MM game the other day, and we lost 16-13, if that gives you an indicator.
Oh, jeez.
44. I think it's the most kills I've ever had in a game.
Yeah, but we're getting back into it. Fnatic, they had a little bit of a chat. Of course, they have the one last chance here to close this map out and steal it away from Nip. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing an overtime. And with that, the hope still for Nip to try and take their own map choice, which is a necessity. Look at this quick A play. Flusha was blinded, but I believe the Heaven player was too. Tre, he tries to push out and ends up just getting caught in the open. Golden and JW combined. Hampus at least returns one with the nade. But the bomb site itself has fallen to Fnatic, even if the bomb plant has been delayed by the extra few seconds. Although Twist does a quick flank and, yeah, wins it out against Brolin. A fantastic pick off there to find a headshot. Hampus had been naded and flashed a bit as well, but for now, surviving in that corner, but no longer the case. We're back into a 3-on-3.
Big kill. I love this position for JW. His duel with Twist matters everything. He gets so much damage, but not the finishing blow, and that's what mattered. Now Flush is going to have to come clean it up. That's his position revealed. Both coming back in from Mini. They're not aware that it's both at this point. All onto Crims. Time his ally, but the numbers certainly not. Plopsky swings. Plopsky gets one tapped, and now it's all on Rez. The jump shot attempt, the Qly play, and it's going to be Crims to win it. Another one tap, 2